Hey Rico, I don't think we're in San Espirito anymore. Just Cause was beautiful to look at, massive, and sparse. In many ways, it was more of a tech demo, but there was fun to be had. The good Swedes at Avalanche thought the same thing. So 4 years later, Just Cause 2 would be released for the 360, PS3, and PC, with a whole slew of new mechanics, an upgraded Avalanche engine, setting, story, harder, better, faster, stronger. Almost 16 years later, many still consider this entry to be the best in the franchise. But before we get into the nitty-gritty, we have some work to do to get this running properly. Many of you noted in the Just Cause 1 video that the bugs and weirdness I was experiencing was due to the unlocked frame rate. I didn't realize that at the time, but mainly because I wasn't entirely hindered by the experience, and it left some genuine laughs for me. Hell, I'd argue it enhanced it. Though, to be safe this round, I did set an FPS cap of 60. Even with that, I still had some pretty major crashes happening within 10 or so minutes of game time. Apparently that's due to the decals option. Just turn it off. You could also turn off the bokeh effect as well for some additional performance, but the major one is the decals. Even with these two turned off, the game would still crash from time to time. Though that was after maybe 4 or 5-ish hours of playtime or alt-tabbing, and the game now has a much more effective autosave feature, so loss of progress was very nominal. There are some fan patches out there that I personally didn't try out, nor felt like I needed, but they might help you. Our story takes place a few years after the events of San Espirito, though you don't have to play the first game at all to understand the greater plot, if you care about the plot. The agency and our boy Rico are being sent to the troubled, also fictional nation of Panau, which used to be a former ally with the US. However, the former ruler, Papa Panay, was usurped and murdered by his son, Baby Panay. And Baby has kind of gone insane. Not to mention that the nation is sitting on top of massive amounts of oil, which has gotten the attention of the United States. The agency did send in Rico's handler, Tom Sheldon, to investigate, but he has gone dark, suspected to have gone rogue. So Rico and Maria Kane must find Sheldon, work with some locals, some new allies, eliminate Sheldon, and topple yet another regime. On a visual level, Just Cause 2 has received quite the needed upgrade. Panau is undeniably beautiful, with a wide array of villages, towns, cities, harbors, military bases. More noticeable, however, is the new biomes. San Espirito was pretty for the time and can have really breathtaking scenery, but it was all the same. A tropical paradise that totally didn't represent nations like Cuba, Panama, or anything in the Gulf of Mexico. So for Panau, the Swedes make sure to make it truly unique. Every major biome one can think of is featured here. Grand rainforests, concrete jungles, sandy deserts, grand and snowy mountains, even ancient temples. The result is that Panau might be one of my favorite open worlds ever featured in video games. There's just so much that not only makes me stop in my tracks just to look at the vistas, but a lot of it is also just so memorable when traveling. They even toned down the bloom from being blinding to pleasant. I didn't think I would remember so much about Panau since the last time I played Just Cause 2 was about 13, 14 years ago, especially since Panau is bigger. Only by 10 square miles, but due to the shifting elevation and biomes, what is a 400 square mile map feels more like a 4,000 square mile map. But because there's so much variety, I ended up instantly remembering where certain places were and never really felt lost. Even more impressive is that none of Panau is procedurally generated. So while some of the smaller villages might look similar, they're not exact copies like what was happening in San Espirito. The only other open world game that might be better looking for the time would probably be Red Dead Redemption. One is an old American Western tale, and the other is Action Man 5000 with a grapple hook in Southeast Asia. Character models as a whole look a lot better. Gone are the extremely stiff animations and plasticky textures, and the ethereal tones. Now it feels a lot more grounded, though I do miss a little bit of the old Rico design. A guy who can disrupt an entire nation's political system in Cuban heels, which, as the great philosopher Aristotle once said, sick as fuck. In Just Cause 2, he looks a little bit more generic. The scorpion on his back is neat though. Enemies have more visual range as well, since there is the inclusion of special units like heavies and demo officers. Speaking of, the gameplay received just as massive of an upgrade as the visuals. Starting with Rico's most powerful weapon, the grapple hook. I didn't make mention of it much in the Just Cause 1 video because it was pretty limited. You literally only used it to grapple onto vehicles to either parasail or hijack them. The Swedes innovated it by basically saying, well, let's just have it do everything. The grapple hook still is used to hijack vehicles, but it can be your main mode of transportation. You can grapple onto any surface and either latch yourself to that surface or catapult yourself to open your parachute. And you can use the grapple to pull yourself along with the chute open. It makes traversal so much easier and really fun, especially when you're climbing up a mountain, though it really shines in combat. You can pull enemies off of turrets or off a ledge, or you can get creative. You can hang an enemy like a piñata and start whacking, latch them to an explosive canister and watch them ascend to the stars, drag them along from behind your vehicle. Out of ammo and involved in a car chase, just use a grapple hook and hook their vehicles to the ground. It could damn near do it all, and it pairs well with the rest of Rico's arsenal. Grenades and C4 are in the same category, and you can quickly switch between them. No longer can you shoot grenades out of the sky, but you can cook them. You now only can carry 3 weapons, 2 single-handed and 1 two-handed weapon. The first 2 weapons can be either used solo or dual-wield, and you can mix and match what you want to dual-wield. Most of the time you may want to just go ahead and dual-wield the same weapon, but early game the ammo stored is pretty low, especially with the SMG. You will be burning through ammo, but this can be remedied with weapon parts. These can be used to upgrade your weapons and their damage, ammo, fire rate, the usual. What's neat is that these upgrades apply when you pick up enemy weapons as well, so you never have to worry about losing those upgrades. The two-handed weapons are what you expect: assault rifle, sniper, rocket launcher, that usual deal, which also can be upgraded. But there is an interesting drawback. Stun positions are back and have also received huge improvements. One of the major being that you can move around your vehicle. On cars, you can position Rico to the front of the car and use the rest as cover. The catch is that you can only use your single-handed weapons, so if you're out of ammo with those 2, you will have to climb back to the roof and whip out your two-handed, exposing yourself to enemy fire. And now, the enemy isn't much of a pushover anymore. They will do everything in their power to stop you. They'll run you off the road, focus fire, and do a much better job at calling in reinforcements. If your heat level is high enough, they can even call down paratroopers. They even have technology. You might be a hell of a lot faster now, but the enemy will try to catch up and do a damn fine job at it. You might be going on a killing spree, and they'll send in some of their special units like demolition officers, snipers, personnel armed with RPGs, attack helicopters, and tanks. The Panau government still doesn't have access to caterpillar treads, but these tanks will ruin your day if not careful. Even the friendly AI has been upgraded. Rather than giving the illusion of help, they'll actually help. You might still need to help them out, but they're pretty capable on their own, especially since there have been a couple of major changes to the flow of gameplay. While the first game's liberations can be fun, that was essentially the meat and meat-flavored potatoes of the game, which became stale very fast. For Just Cause 2, everything flows around the chaos system. The more disruption you cause by completing faction missions, blowing up government equipment, killing colonels, the more chaos you build. This then unlocks new missions to progress the story and aid the factions, new equipment to buy from the black market, and even increase the heat level from the government forces. One type of mission you will get to do is the Stronghold missions. These essentially are the old Liberation missions, but there's some differences. For one, there are only 9 Stronghold missions in the game. You guide a squad through a base, defend a point, kill the base commander, and you win. The newly acquired base also acts as a respawn point if and when you die. They're pretty simple, with the only major complication being the gate that you have to unlock, which is a QTE that can be interrupted, but nothing too major. Plus, I'd rather do these 9 times than 900 times. Side missions you do for the factions are simple, but fun. They can range from a simple assassination, messing around with government infrastructure, destruction, collection, so on. What's notable about them is that they don't feel too samey. I never found myself bored or groaning about going on a faction side mission. There's quite a few of them that are pretty exciting and interesting. I'm pretty sure most fans reminisce about the island occupied by the 100-year-old Imperial Japanese soldiers. Oh, and they have an experimental EMP weather machine because, of course, they do. See, what makes Just Cause 2 so entertaining is that the Swedes understood that the first game can be fun, but it needed a bit more chaos. So they leaned in on the pure silliness of the situation and doubled down on the mechanics and systems that enhanced the silliness. It's a power fantasy of preposterous proportions. I mean, at one point, we're fighting ninjas. Gun-toting ninjas. What?
I hate ninjas.
Do you really need more examples? Fine. You want to kill enemies by launching them in the air and juggling them with bullets? Sure, go ahead. Want a nightclub that's just a sky blimp boat thing? Why not? You want some of the funniest government-sponsored news segments that try to whitewash your actions? You've got it!
Earlier reports that the terrorists who call themselves the Eula Boys were responsible for the attacks on the nuclear power plant today turned out to be false, says a spokesman for the Panawan Nuclear Fission Research Group. There was no gunfire, he claims. It was only some engines backfiring.
There's other side stuff you can do as well. You can go to settlements, bases, and cities, collect all the goodies, and destroy government infrastructure. There are races you can do for extra money and chaos, or you can just stick around and explore. Even the music got a proper upgrade. I liked the first game's music quite a lot, it's just that there was a limited variety and it was on repeat a lot. So what sounded good became irritating. Here though, there's a nice blend of ambience, action, calm. The Southeast Asian influence blends nicely with the Bond-like strings. Just Cause 2 is a great solo action game, with an equally fun multiplayer mod. Well, used to at least. Back in the day, two programmers by the names Trix and Jax M were known for making some fairly successful multiplayer mods for Vice City and San Andreas. Trix thought that multiplayer would be perfect for Just Cause 2 after playing the demo, plus GTA 5 on PC wouldn't happen for another couple of years, so this pretty much filled that void. It was pretty popular. I remember playing it with hundreds and hundreds of other Ricos running around, killing each other and performing stunts. Nowadays, the multiplayer mod is kind of dead. There are some servers around, but far fewer people in them. You could probably gather a group for some cheap laughs, but that's about it. On the bright side, Trix did get hired by Avalanche, but it's still a little sad to see this mod go the way of the dodo. Really, I can only think of a couple of drawbacks for Just Cause 2. The overall instability kind of sucks. The amount of money you get to use in the black market is on the low end. I get it because most of the time you're going to be hijacking vehicles, but still, there's some fun stuff that's only available through the black market. So if you don't have the funds, you're kind of screwed. These are kind of nitpicky complaints. To me, there are only two major problems I have. The first being the voice acting received a pretty substantial downgrade. From what I can tell, no one from the first game returns here. Which kind of sucks because I really enjoyed some of the performances in the first game, serious or bizarre. I mean, I get it. Robin Atkin Downes was busy doing voice lines for the medic and Sean, and Richard McGonigal had quite a few more Uncharted games to be involved in. It just kind of sucks that we lose them, but if the trade-off was losing them for better gameplay and even story, then it was a worthy loss. And thankfully, the voice acting is in the so bad it's fantastic territory.
Hey, thanks, pal. I was one bullet away from meeting my maker.
Oh, you'll still meet him. Unless you get me to Sheldon.
Relax, buddy. We'll find him for you. No trouble.
Find him where?
Well, what I hear is that he went up jungle, started some kind of rebel gang. Fighting for the government, fighting against the government. So much rumor.
So get me to this rebel gang.
That won't be easy.
You want me to throw you back to those dogs?
But it's not impossible.
Let me introduce myself. I am Razak Razaman. Some call me Reza. I am the leader of the outfit known as the Roaches.
I hear you might be looking for help.
Right you are. I have heard about your handiwork, Scorpio.
I do what I have to do to get the job done.
Ah, that is good. I hope we can reach a mutually beneficial agreement.
Interestingly, a lot of the fanbase is infatuated with Bolo Santosi. I can understand why. If this game were to release today, many people would accuse her voice of being AI.
My name is Bolo Santosi. I am the leader of the revolutionary army known as the Reapers. Our goal is for the people of Panau to break the chains of oppression.
And the other downside is that this game has a bunch of annoying microtransaction add-ons. Some of the more silly and fun weapons and vehicles are paywalled. I mean, yeah, it's only about 10-ish bucks, but it's still annoying as hell. This wasn't uncommon for the time. A lot of single-player games were taking the Todd Howard route. Not a deal breaker, just annoying. As for the story, it's a fun time. It's not going to challenge your thoughts on a deep or metaphysical level. This is more of a Michael Bay's Transformers level of story. Dumb, silly plot with dumb, silly characters. There is some level of intrigue where I am going to get into spoiler territory, but that's about it. It's an overall fun, dumb time, and that's exactly what Sweet Valence was going for. Now for the spoilers. In the beginning, the Black Market's direct contact is a mysterious figure by the name of the Sloth Demon. Now that's how you say it. Though very quickly, you figure out that it's Tom Sheldon. He has a wealth of information for every faction on Panau, and he's sharing it with Rico. Of course it's Tom. I just miss Richard. And you'll be in my heart. Though that's not the most interesting part. Turns out that it's not just America that knows about the oil fields on Panau. The three major factions fighting for the control: the Communist Reapers led by Bolo Santosi, the Roaches led by the capitalist criminal overlord Razak Razman, and the Ular Boys led by the cultural extremist Siri Irawan. These three are being funded by three major superpowers that also want control over the oil, and are using the factions as a puppet of their control. Those superpowers are the Chinese, the Russians, and the Japanese. That last one is weird because technically America is strongly allied with the Japanese, and we do end up killing the Japanese commander Masayo Washio as well as the other two, but that's kind of expected. So wouldn't this cause a huge international incident between the US and Japan? Don't think about it. Also, since you kill all three of these superpower commanders, wouldn't this cause an even more massive international crisis? Don't worry about it.
Here comes freedom, baby!
Amazing.
Sheldon, I didn't know you still had it in you.
Rico, buddy, I'm as American as apple pie. And you know all real Americans hate commies.
At one point, one of the new characters, Agent Jade Tan, is kidnapped. An informant for the agency, Carl Blaine, who you meet at the beginning of the game, routed you and the agency to Baby Panay, resulting in Tan's capture. But the time for revenge comes shortly after Tan's rescue and the superpower crippling. Baby is in hiding at his super secret base that everyone knows the location of, and you have to pick either the Reapers, Roaches, or Ulars to help you raid the base. I was kind of hoping that this would have some sort of major outcome for post-game content. Sadly, it doesn't, but it kind of makes sense narratively and realistically. America messed around with a nation's government, and now the nation is in complete political disarray. We did it! The build-up to the Baby Panay fight is pretty great. He's hiding out in what I'm just going to call Mount Panaymore, and he is not even slightly fazed by Rico.
Ah, I have been expecting you, the American agent. Please tell me you are not also here to steal Panau's beautiful black gold.
Oil. I should have guessed. Always this damn oil.
Oil, more oil than any reserve on the whole planet. I am going to control the whole world.
Oh no, little man! Not if I can stop it!
Oh, hell.
It was you, Panay. You who destroyed the only thing I loved. And now that Jade is dead, we'll die together.
Imbecile! Grotesque! I command you to stop! Get that grenade away from me! Throw it away!
God, I love how unfazed Baby was. No, that's not the end. The superpowers smell the black gold, so the agency needs to act fast.
What the?
Oh shit. Yeah, Baby is not dead. He probably whispered to that grenade and told it, no.
President Panay. You're supposed to be dead.
You forget, I am invincible. Especially now I can destroy who and what I want at the touch of a button.
Yeah? How you gonna push buttons when your fingers are broken?
You will find my digits are working perfectly. And now, you die.
I gotta say, I love this guy. Baby has so much confidence in himself, it's kind of inspiring. Sure, he's the villain and you get to see examples of his tyranny throughout the game, but you've got to hand it to this guy. He probably would get along with Alberic from Ring. I'm also so glad that his pet isn't a bird or a snake. It's a fucking chameleon. An equally invincible chameleon.
Ah, you think you have won?
That would be my impression.
I have news for you. I have 4 nuclear missiles ready to blow. So if the Chinese, Japanese, or Russians try to screw me, well, they're in for a nasty surprise.
And the fourth?
What do you think? It is, of course, pointed at the very wart on the face of the earth, America.
Oh my god.
And with this, I take my leave.
What? What?
I told you, I am invincible!
He spent the time and the resources to paint each nuclear missile with the colors of the target nations. This man is a treasure. This is a great climactic fight, though I feel like it's missing something. The nukes are destroyed, Baby is killed, and the oil field is erased from the world. The superpowers have zero interest in Panay and what happens to it. Now you get access to Mercenary Mode, which is just the post-story stuff that you can catch up on if you want. There's quite a lot to do, as you can see from my game completion percentage. I was kind of dreading playing this game initially, Open world games can be fun, but I've played so many in recent years that it just kind of sounds like a bit of a chore to navigate yet another open world. Just Cause 2, however, did not leave that impression. Panay is a beautiful, chaotic place to explore, and the overall gameplay is such a huge improvement that I never found myself bored of it. That sentiment is reflected with the people who have played Just Cause 2. It's funny, action-packed, and perfect in every single way. To this day, many consider this one of the best games ever made, and after replaying it, I can kind of see why.